Morning. It's the appointed time, and we have a quorum. Let's get started. Agenda item 1. Policy briefing by the Civil Service Bureau. Please refer to LC paper number CB bracket 321/2026 bracket 01. At today's meeting, the Policy Bureau will brief us on their major work for 2026. Other panel members are invited to join this discussion item. Let me first invite the government representatives to enter the meeting room. Members who'd like to speak, please press the request to speak button.
依家出席人數都唔係多。好，歡迎我哋。
Welcome Mrs. Ingrid Young, Secretary for the Civil Service, as well as the other officials from the Bureau. You all have the attendance list with you. Today we have Ms. Shirley Lam, Permanent Secretary for the Civil Service, joining the first meeting of the panel on public service today. I hope in the coming year you will be able to work happily with our panel members, and together we will take forward our work smoothly. Today, officials from the Civil Service Bureau will brief us on their major work for 2026. I believe the Secretary will leave some time for members to raise questions. Let me first invite the Secretary to give us a briefing first. Thank you. Good morning, members. I'm happy to join this meeting of the panel on public service of the new LegCo term. I, together with other officials of the Civil Service Bureau and the head of the Civil Service College, as well as the Director of General Grades, will brief members on our major policies in the coming year as well as our future plan. I hope that there will be more opportunities for us to communicate and exchange with members on civil service matters, so that together under the executive-led approach and the principle of patriots administering Hong Kong, we can build a highly efficient civil service team in Hong Kong. We have prepared a PowerPoint presentation today. We focus on areas of the public concern in this presentation, which covers civil service management, making use of civil service human resources, encouraging people to join the civil service, stepping up training for civil servants, as well as promoting volunteerism among civil servants. First, I will talk about civil service management. We understand that the community has increasingly high expectations on the civil service team, and we attach importance in this regard. In June 2024, we promulgated the updated Civil Service Code. It spells out clearly that the Constitution and the Basic Law together form the constitutional basis and order of the Hong Kong SAR, and the constitutional roles and responsibilities of civil servants under this basis. It also sets out 12 core values and standards of conduct that civil servants should uphold, which serve as a behavioral compass to guide the day-to-day work and decision-making of civil servants. We attach importance to the conduct of civil servants. Most civil servants uphold the philosophy of the Civil Service Code. For the minority or a fraction of civil servants that violate personal conduct, we will deal with each case stringently. We will also abide by the standards and require civil servants to serve the community with loyalty and dedication. Now, my team and I will brief members on each area of our policy focus. Thank you, Chairman. I will now talk about our work on reward and punishment system. In 2023, the Civil Service Bureau rolled out the Chief Executive's Award for Exemplary Performance to give recognition to exemplary teams or individuals. We have already held 3 rounds of this scheme, and for the new round, we will announce the results in due course. The second measure is to enhance the Secretary for the Civil Services Commendation Award Scheme. The CSB enhanced this award scheme in 2024 by lifting the service length requirements for an awardee for obtaining the travel award so that an awardee of shorter service can be granted a travel award. In 2025, this award scheme saw a list of 100 awardees, and those aged 50 or below account for 24, which represents an increase of 3 more awardees compared with 2024, and 16 awardees whose years of service were less than 20, 4 more when compared with 2024. Third measure, publicizing good stories of civil servants. Civil servants who won award under the above commendation award scheme have their stories broadcast through television, social media, MTR stations, and government venues. We arranged for award-winning teams or awardees to attend media interviews. Through CSB's social media platforms and civil service newsletter, we have publicized the outstanding performance of the civil service. At the career fairs held at universities as well as the Education and Careers Expo, we play videos on good stories of civil servants so that students could directly learn more about the work of civil servants and gear up for their applications for civil service posts. I will now talk about the disciplinary mechanism as well as the management of civil servants. On managing civil servants' performance, we can, under Section 12 of the Public Service Administration Order, retire civil servants that display persistent poor performance. In 2023, we rolled out a streamlined mechanism. As at January 2026, 13 officers were given the Section 12 notification. The notification tells the relevant civil servants to improve their performance within a certain period. Otherwise, we will take a Section 12 action to order these civil servants to retire. Among the 13 officers who received notifications, some of them had been asked to retire. 2 of them retired after getting the notification, and 4 other civil servants saw their performance improved, but they are still under the observation period. There are 3 other cases that are still being dealt with. After rolling out the streamlined mechanism, the processing time for each case reduced significantly from 31 months to 10.5 months. We see that departments have been making use of this mechanism to handle civil servants with persistent substandard performance. We will continue to encourage and supervise departments to make good use of this mechanism. I will now talk about the disciplinary mechanism. Since 2023, the CSB has been rolling out various measures for enhancing the civil service disciplinary mechanism. This includes requiring departments to report on a half-yearly basis to their senior management, as well as the CSB on the progress of the handling of disciplinary cases. We also require departments to strengthen the monitoring of summary disciplinary actions imposed against officers on probationary or trial terms. We organized 5 workshops in 2025 for training departmental managers on the skills and capability in conducting investigation of disciplinary cases, and we also launched a new online course in December 2025. To further enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of the handling of disciplinary cases, in April 2025, we consulted the civil service staff side, the Public Service Commission, and this panel. And now we're working on amending the PSAO as well as the Public Service Disciplinary Regulation. The aim is to streamline the disciplinary procedures, enhance the interdiction arrangements, and to make consequential amendments following the implementation of the national security law. Our goal is to have the provisions revised by 2026. Now I will turn to the heads of departments' accountability system. Our goal is to enhance the proactive leadership and supervisory responsibilities at the heads of department level, encourage them to establish effective management teams and operating systems, improve workflow on an ongoing basis, and enhance the overall management standard. There are two-tier investigations under this accountability system. The first tier is conducted by HODs, and for Tier 2 investigations, they are conducted by the Public Service Commission. We have already launched work on making subsidiary legislation under the Public Service Commission Ordinance, so that we can confer powers upon the Commission to conduct Tier 2 investigations when necessary in the future. Now I'll talk about the performance appraisal mechanism. The Chief Executive's 2025 policy address put forward the establishment of a more rigorous performance appraisal system that reflects and differentiates the performance levels of civil servants more effectively, giving a clearer basis for rewards and punishment, which will help HODs provide the officers with good potential with advancement opportunities, raise the morale of the good performers, and assist those with room for improvement to enhance their capabilities. The CSB has already commenced the study on strengthening the civil service performance appraisal system to clearly distinguish the staff's performance level. We expect to introduce concrete measures in 2026, and we will brief the Public Service Panel on the arrangements. Now, I will talk about how we optimize the use of civil service manpower resources. First, on civil service establishment. To ensure sustainability of public resources, starting from 2021, we have implemented the zero growth policy in the civil service establishment, with the overall establishment controlled at a level not exceeding that as at end of March 2021. That's about 196,000 posts. With our concerted efforts, we have been able to maintain zero growth in the civil service establishment. It is expected that by 1st of March 2026, the number of posts will be reduced by 3,000, that is to 193,000 posts. To further use manpower resources and to control public expenditure, the government has already announced a scheme, and in 2026-27 and 2027-28, the civil service establishment will be reduced by 2% each. By 1st of April 2027, about 10,000 posts are expected to be deleted within this term of government. Through adoption of management measures and digitalization, departments reprioritize and redeploy their work, streamline work processes, and capitalize on technology solutions to enhance efficiency. The leaner civil service will continue to deliver high-quality public services while streamlining the manpower resources of the civil service. Now I will talk about the introduction of the government-wide mobilization level. In December 2022, the government implemented the enhanced mobilization protocol by introducing the government-wide mobilization level, under which a list of designated personnel from various departments was drawn up in advance to ensure that a quick response unit formed by government employees can be mobilized speedily during major incidents. We have improved the government-wide mobilization. Since the introduction of the government-wide mobilization level, the government has on several occasions mobilized civil servants to handle the emergency recovery work following the passage of super typhoon and torrential rain, and also towards the end of last year, after the fire at Wangfuk Court in Taipo, we have mobilized a number of civil servants to help with the emergency support operations. This mechanism ensures smooth conduct of major events. For example, from late 2024 to early 2025, the CSB coordinated the participation of a considerable number of government staff in the drills at the Kai Tak Sports Park to conduct testing of crowd management and transport arrangements. This is to ensure the smooth commissioning of the Kai Tak Sports Park. I'll now hand over the floor to the head of the Civil Service College.
Now I'm going to introduce a number of measures on training of the civil service. That is to build up their basic service culture and to enhance their identity and also a sense of belonging to the country and to develop holistic views and global views. And lastly, I'll talk about the grooming of talents in the government. Now we focus on training of mindsets. So for skills and also other training, it's all based on mindset training so that we can reshape one's decision-making and behavioral patterns. We believe that only by embracing the right service mindset can the civil service fully harness the professional expertise and talents to serve our country and Hong Kong. The focus of training is on national security, patriotic education, and to enhance the civil service understanding of the country's strategies and policies to enhance their holistic views and global views so that they can use their expertise to contribute to the country and Hong Kong. We're promoted to implementing patriotic education. We have added elements like understanding of history and understanding of role models, etc., to enhance their sense of identity with the country so that out of their own initiative, they can contribute to the well-being of our people and national security. All new recruits are required to complete their fundamental education. And they need refreshers training after they are confirmed to the civil service. These are compulsory programs. On patriotic education, we organize the thematic study program on modern Chinese history to deepen civil service understanding of the history of the countries over the past century so that we can cultivate a correct understanding of history, strengthen their sense of national identity, and they can understand Hong Kong's roles and missions in the national rejuvenation. This is a regular program to be run on a long-term basis. And we've also organized seminars on the 18th anniversary of victory in the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and in the World Anti-Fascist War to deepen their understanding of the history and significance of the war against the Japanese aggression. We've also got thematic seminars on national security. We invited important figures from the country to let our civil service understand the challenges faced in this area. And by 2026, all civil servants are required to attend the exhibition on the National Security Exhibition Gallery. And in 2023 to 2024, we jointly organized an in-depth training program on One Country, Two Systems and Contemporary China with the Institute for Hong Kong and Macau Studies, Beijing universities. We also invite experts and scholars and important persons from the country to hold sessions to enhance learning, the learning of the spirit of the two sessions and a seminar on the spirit of the fourth plenary session of the 20th CPC Central Committee. This can help civil servants to better integrate into and serve the overall national development. We also organize middle and senior ranking civil servants to attend national studies in 9 major institutes in the country to develop their holistic views and also global perspectives. We have also got site visits and also scenarios to enhance their understanding and reflection of what they learn in class so that they have a better understanding of the development of the country. Every year we have about 1,300 civil servants attending these programs. Apart from short-term training programs, we've organized a 2-year master degree in public policy program. So in the first year, they have immersion learning in Beijing, and the second year is for them to write a thesis on understanding the real situation in the country to enhance their understanding. So a total of 64 civil servants with potential were selected to participate from 2022 to 2025. Starting from 2023, we had the Mutual Civil Service Staff Exchange Program. In 2024, we resumed the Staff Exchange Program of Beijing, Shanghai, Chongqing, Wuhan, and Hangzhou. The program effectively promotes a deep understanding of mainland policies and development of Hong Kong civil servants and strengthens liaison and exchanges between both sides. We also committed to cultivating a sense of cultivating holistic views with international perspective in our senior and middle-ranking civil servants. So we have got different seminars and talks like connecting with the world, ASEAN, etc., and presenting China to the world so that we can promote international exchange and collaboration, and that we can better leverage the role of Hong Kong as a bridge between the country and the world. We also arrange for people civil servants with the potential to attend various programs in different parts of the world to learn AI and other subjects such as public administration, international relations, etc. In 2023, we sent the second batch of 12 junior professional officers to participate in the UN Junior Professional Officer Program. They were sent to UN offices in New York, Geneva, Vienna, and Nairobi as Chinese personnel for around 2 years. Our civil servants were highly appraised by these officers, and we're planning to send the third batch of JPOs to enhance their experience in taking part in the affairs of international organizations. We also enhance our collaboration with universities and research institutions to facilitate exchange of experience in public governance across the region. We also develop case studies to inform its curriculum and support building of institutional knowledge on good governance in the long run, thereby enhancing the effectiveness of governance. And this will help to enrich the leadership qualities of our future talents. In 2025 July, we launched the Governance Talents Development Program to help cultivate a talent pool in the government and enhance governance capability through very vigorous selection. We have chosen 40 civil servants to join the program. So we have different programs to allow the selected civil servants to enrich their experience and training. I now hand over to my colleague. Good morning, Chairman and members. I will now talk about what we have done in the promotion of civil service volunteer service. In 2024, we launched the Civil Service Volunteer Commendation Scheme, a brand new scheme to recognize departmental volunteer teams and individuals with outstanding performance and contributions and participation and promotion of volunteer service. We also aim to promote the organization of and participation in more voluntary services. We want to encourage more civil servants to become volunteers. In 2025, i.e. the last year, it was the second year of the scheme, and 435 volunteers were given individual awards representing increase of nearly 30% over 2024. The total number of service hours was over 53,000 hours, 11,000 hours more than what it was in 2024. The marked increase underscores the heightened engagement and enthusiasm of civil servants towards volunteerism. As we can see from the screen, our volunteers have taken part in a variety of services. For instance, CDD staff help our elderly citizens to enhance their hearing capability by using hearing aids. And then we've got volunteers from the police providing Chinese programs for non-Chinese speaking ethnic minorities to help them overcome the language barrier. And our teams, together with Digital Policy Office, went to an elderly center to help elders there to use smartphones and apps so that they can grasp a new technology as well. In 2025, apart from the wide range of services I just outlined, in 2025, we mobilized civil servants volunteers to help in the smooth operation of the 15th National Games and the 12th National Games for persons with disabilities. Over 3,200 government staff members provided volunteer support for various competitions. They were escorts, they were ushers, and they supported the award presentation ceremony, and they used their spare time to support the two games to assist their smooth operation. I'd like to spend some time on the to give you an update of wealth of benefits and services provided to our colleagues by the government. The government, as the employer, is committed to providing medical and dental benefits to our colleagues. We use a diversified approach in enhancing their benefits in this regard. For instance, we have already launched the online booking of our family clinics. Now, you can now book a slot online, and then in the HA Go mobile app, you can also get a slot for civil servants. This is useful for our colleagues to book a slot for medical consultations, and we will have another 5,000 consultation slots in the 6 families clinic. And last year, we started to provide, we've increased the number of civil service desks in evening sessions of family clinics of HA, and the Zhangguanou family clinics started service last year, and starting from the year before, we launched a pilot scheme for seasonal flu vaccination program. So far, we have given 15,000 jabs to civil servants so as to safeguard the health of our colleagues and their family members. I turn to dental services. Our aim is to alleviate the waiting time for dental services. In the past few years, because of manpower shortage in our dental clinics, the waiting time for dental services, scaling in particular, was very high. Starting in 2023, we launched a number of pilot schemes through public-private partnership to leverage the private sector to provide dental services for our colleagues. Locally, we have the pilot scheme on dental services for dental scaling, and we've also got a pilot scheme on dental services in Shamzhan. Colleagues can attend scaling, can have access to scaling services in a designated dental clinic in Shamzhan. We're also doing our best to enhance the manpower of dental services. We have seen great improvement so far. So with this multi-pronged approach, the waiting time for dental scaling has dropped from the peak of 29 months to about 60 months on average. So we have seen marked improvement. We will continue to work on alleviating the waiting time. The last is Chinese medicine services. In 2024, we announced that a total of 5,000 service quotas will be included in civil service Chinese medicine clinics. We're now providing an annual service quotas exceeding 110,000, representing a 70% increase over the early stage of the service in 2020-2021. We keep improving medical and dental services available for our colleagues. We're going to reopen some clinics, including the one to be provisioned in Kwun Tong Composite Development Building and also another one in Taiwan. As I said, there has been manpower shortage in the Department of Health, and we had to stop the operation of some dental clinics. Now, because of manpower improvement, will gradually reopen these dental clinics so as to shorten the waiting time. As I mentioned, we have used public-private partnership in launching 2 pilot schemes. We're going to extend the 2 pilot schemes appropriately, and the Department of Health will continue to recruit dental officers. I can say that in the coming few years, we hope that we can gradually reverting to the service mode in which all dental services will be provided by the Department of Health. Of course, we don't want the waiting time to be unduly long. Lastly, I turn to the to Chinese medicine services. The Chinese Medicine Hospital of Hong Kong will be commissioned towards the middle of this year, and we will provide services for our civil servants there. Our initial plan is to start from the middle of this year. We will provide 5,000 service quotas in each of the first 2 years, so a total of 10,000 for our colleagues. So much so for medical and dental services. Now I turn to how we have worked to create a family-friendly working environment for our colleagues.
We will talk about the measures implemented and the effectiveness. First, on the 5-day week arrangement, we will continue to promote this arrangement. We hope that various departments can make arrangement to allow staff to work under a 5-day week arrangement. As at September 2024, around 85% of the then civil service strength were working on a 5-day week work pattern. This is a new high since the launch of the 5-day week arrangement. We will continue to promote this arrangement. At least 5 government departments, including their divisions and units, are promoting trial of this 5-day week arrangement, and it's been very effective, and our staff have welcomed this arrangement. Also, last year, we have enhanced special work arrangements on festivals on their eves. We make arrangements for civil servants to finish work early during special festivals or their eves. Originally, there were 4 days on which staff were allowed to leave work early for 2 hours. Now, they can leave work early on 5 special festival days. And also, for this leave, the number is increased from 2 to 3. Over the past 2 years, we have also rolled out family-friendly leave arrangements to better cater to civil servants' needs. Starting from 2025, we have provided marriage leave and compassionate leave. For civil servants, on each occasion of their marriage or the death of their family members, they can take up to 3 days off. Also, starting from 2025, we have been allowing employees to take up to 3 days off each year in respect of each child under the age of 3. As of the end of June 2025, there were about 4,500 cases of marriage leave, 13,400 cases of compassionate leave, and 8,600 cases of childcare leave approved. We have continued to listen to civil servants' views so that we understand how we can improve our arrangement. Last December, we enhanced the compassionate leave arrangement. We expanded the definition of family members to include siblings to better cater for employees' needs. The background is that the compassionate leave could take care of the next of kin of civil servants as well as their partners, but we did not cover siblings. Now, under the new arrangement, we have expanded the arrangement to cover civil servants' siblings to better cater for their needs. That's all for my sharing. Secretary, would you like to give a summary? Well, that's all for our briefing. Perhaps we will listen to members' views now and see if members have any questions. Thank you, Secretary, and thank you all from the Civil Service Bureau. Now, 11 members have asked to speak. We have about 15 minutes for this discussion item. I will first give each member 4 minutes, but please watch the time. Please leave some time for the Secretary to respond to your questions. If necessary, I may extend this meeting by 15 minutes. I will first read out the names of the members who have asked to speak. We will start with Mr. Stephen Ho, followed by Mr. Chris Yip, Mr. Kingsley Wong, Mr. Eric Bok, Mr. Mr. Chen Cho Kwong, Ms. Nixie Lam, Dr. Johnny Mr. Mark Chong, Ms. Julia Lau, Mr. Lam Wai Kong, Mr. Lau Ka Keung, and myself. Mr. Stephen Ho. I thank the Secretary as well as her team for the detailed report. Members as well as the public would like the government to continue to enhance a system. We want a clear reward and punishment system. We know that the SAR government has done a lot of work. It's satisfactory, but we want the government to do more. For example, according to paragraph 6 of the papers, the government said it would revoke the Public Service Administration Order and that it has rolled out the streamlined mechanism to deal with civil servants with substandard performance. For those who are not retiring, how will you make sure that there is a clear reward and punishment system for them? Also, could you provide more information? For example, for the 13 officers who got the Section 12 notification, which departments are they from? Are they all from one department? Is the streamlined mechanism implemented widely across all government departments? I hope to have more information on this front. Now, turning to the welfare of civil servants, we know that the government is not in a very good fiscal position. The economy has recovered a little. However, members of the public are under great pressure because of the increased healthcare cost. According to the PowerPoint presentation, civil servants can enjoy certain benefits. I think you need to explain more in this regard. This is because it will give members of the public the impression that civil servants are enjoying more benefits even with the current fiscal position faced by the government. I hope that you can explain more to tell good stories of the civil servants. Now, turning to compassionate leave. We want to see a pay rise across the entire Hong Kong. However, we have to make sure that there is a clear reward and punishment system in place. I know that civil servants enjoyed compassionate leave on the occasion of the death of their next of kin. For example, for civil servants whose partner's parents passed away, they could not enjoy the compassionate leave. Could you further relax the arrangement to cover more family members of civil servants? I have a friend whose grandmother were over 100 years old. She passed away, but she could not take compassionate leave. Can you explain this mechanism further to us so that we know how much civil servants can enjoy this benefit? I hope the government can be more caring in this regard to cater to civil servants' needs. Secretary, paragraph 6 of our paper mentions that we order civil servants with persistent substandard performance to retire. This is not restricted to civil servants who are retiring. For civil servants who display persistent substandard performance, we could make use of this mechanism to give them a final chance. If after they receive the notification they still do not improve, we will ask them to retire. Whether they are 35 years old or 55 years old, we can make use of this mechanism. Mr. Stephen Ho asked which departments the 13 officers come from. I can tell you that they are from different departments. They are not from one single department. Now, on civil service benefits, take the dental service as an example. We are making use of vacant dental offices from the Department of Health to offer scaling service for civil servants. So we aren't really allocating extra resources for civil servants' benefits. I thank Mr. Stephen Ho for his comments. We will try to explain more to the public about this. Now I will hand over the floor to Mr. Raymond Chen. On compassionate leave, civil servants' partners' parents as well as their grandparents are covered under the compassionate leave arrangement. This is a newly enhanced scheme. On one hand, we want to create a family-friendly work environment. At the same time, we have to consider the operation of the civil service. I think the government will have to change the name of the streamlined mechanism to ensure that it does not only cover retiring civil servants. Mr. Chris Yip, I have two questions. First, on staff establishment. As mentioned, in the coming 2 financial years, there will be a cut of 2% in terms of civil service establishment in each of the 2 years. What is the situation here? Is the government imposing a hard indicator or target to each department? Will there be a certain level of flexibility, and will public service delivery be affected? Now I have to declare first that my wife is a member of the disciplined service. Now I would like to ask about the 5-day week arrangement. According to the government, 85% of the civil service is now enjoying the 5-day week arrangement. The DAB has been calling for the implementation of the 5-day week arrangement for all civil servants from the disciplined services. What is the situation now? Secretary, now for 2026-27 and 2027-28, we ask each department to cut civil service establishment by 2%, and this have to be done by the 1st of April of each of these 2 financial years. Well, I can tell you that by the 1st of April 2026, the number of posts to be reduced have been decided by each government department. We have already got the reports. We know which posts will be cut. As to which grades they concern, well, there isn't really a restriction. We give departments a certain level of flexibility. We hope government departments can make better use of technology. We want them to reprioritize and redeploy their work and use different ways to provide their existing services. So for each grade and for each department, the impact may be different after the cutting of the posts, but we allow them to decide which posts need to be cut. Now, for the 5-day week arrangement, our major and overarching principle is that emergency services won't be affected under this arrangement and that no additional staffing resources will be incurred. For disciplined services, we are going a bit more slowly in implementing this arrangement. This is because a lot of services have to be provided by disciplined services. Moving forward, my view is that with the rapid development of technology and with a wider adoption of technology in our work to replace manual labor, I believe we will be able to implement the 5-day week arrangement more progressively.
Any follow-up, Mr. Ip? No? Then Mr. Kingsley Wong. Thank you, Chairman. Like the Secretary to enlighten me on the following. Now, we should uphold that we have an executive-led government and that the CE be the leader of the government. Now, and we should understand, let civil servants understand that we are now masters of the government, and civil servants should have this feeling that they should not just get things done. They should think about how to get it well done. I think this is a major change in their mindset. And instead of being a referee, they should be players, and they should be committed with a sense of accountability and responsibility. And they should consider how, from a very top level, they can formulate strategies and policies to develop the economy. I don't see anything very specific about this point in the paper. Now, we should arrange for civil servants to be seconded to the development and planning committee of the country. So I'd like to know how we can instill this sense of the being a major player and also masters of in the government. And I thank the CSB for accepting our suggestions in improving the compassionate leave system. I understand that there will be a budget deficit and there still should be reasonable adjustment of civil service pay, which is reasonable. And you should also improve on the following. It may not be very costly, but you should improve the civil service provident fund. In fact, the government's contribution to civil servants pension provident fund is quite generous. Can relax the rules on the use of the extra contributions? For instance, for young civil servants, can they use the extra contributions for the government on things like purchasing their homes? Thank you. Yes, to enhance the mindset of our civil servants that they become masters and they should take responsibility for the development of Hong Kong as well. Now, we will let senior ranking civil servants understand the overall development of the country and the world situation. For instance, we have seminars such as Brokering North and South. This is about changes in the global scene. And we've also got the Connecting with the World ASEAN seminars. This is about the importance or the significance of the country in ASEAN countries. This afternoon, we've invited officials from the country from the Foreign Affairs Bureau, so that our civil servants can have a better grasp of the world scene and also the country's situation. Colleagues from different disciplines, whether they are from responsible for technology and etc., they have the opportunity to exchange their views with many officials. Now, while we're not talking about secondment to national officers, we do have this arrangement for some of our civil servants to we have this mutual exchange arrangements. This exchange program has enlightened many of our civil servants after their participation. This can better help our senior officers to plan for a better Hong Kong and better future for the country. Our patron survey committee has been meeting to consider the patron situation of our civil servants. But we have to give consideration to the financial situation of the government as well as for whether with the accrued benefits and civil service provident funds can be used for other purposes. Now, different colleagues have different aspirations. Some may want to use the benefits for housing, some for taking out policy insurance, some for education of their children, and some for looking after their elderly parents. But still, the civil service pension scheme is to ensure safe retirement for our civil servants. We have to strike a balance between catering to the current needs and the future needs of our civil servants. And this will also have an impact on how the community view the contributions by the government to the scheme. Let me stress once again that we have to act very cautiously in this regard. Thank you. We are quite tight today in terms of time, so I will draw the line after Mr. Chen Cho Kwang. So for colleagues who are minded to ask questions today, please come to the meeting room to press the request to speak button. Mr. Chen Cho Kwang, thank you. I'd like to talk about the civil service morale. According to the paper, there will be a cut of 10,000 civil service posts, and there will also be a number of changes, and the civil service is expected to perform more efficiently. So on the one hand, you are cutting civil service resources. In 2024, the pay adjustment was very limited, and there was a pay freeze in 2025. This has really impact on civil service morale. So how are you going to boost civil service morale? We need manpower in promoting and implementing measures related to INT, innovation technology. How can you ensure the professional grades related to INT can continue to attract outstanding new graduates? Will you work out manpower plans with the relevant professional bureaus and give special consideration to these types of civil servants? Now, we want to enhance efficiency, enhance cost effectiveness, etc. We have to rely on innovation and technology and streamlining of work processes. So the approving departments and their staff members need to buy in this notion. What CSB has to assist the promotion of this culture among civil servants. In particular, you have to explain to civil servants that so long as it is in the public interest, there is no need to worry about transfer of benefit of interest and also other criticisms. Thank you. We're going to trim our establishment. All departments are expected to cut manpower by 2% in the coming 2 years. Now, this is a general requirement of all departments. However, if there is new work that require new resources, we do have a mechanism for them to do so. But of course, we will be very careful in vetting such proposals. So It's not across the board that all departments will have to cut by 2%. For some departments, after a cut of 2%, they need new resources to cope with additional or new work, and we will give them the resources to do so. So we do take into account the need of some departments to have new manpower to carry out new duties. And I do meet with heads of department every year to review the manpower plan of different departments. I will also understand whether they have recruitment difficulties. And attracting new blood. As I said, if we have new work, we give them new resources. And we have also got existing manpower that go into retirement, and recruitment is ongoing. Just last weekend and also the 4 days before that in Hong Kong CEC, there was a career expo. Many departments took part in that, and the Development Bureau had a booth there working together with our works departments. So we do carry out ongoing recruitment to attract new blood. As explained by a colleague, we tell good stories and successful stories of the civil service through these career fairs so that young people can understand the commitment of the civil service and how civil servants can work towards the well-being of the community, and so they'll be attracted to join the government. And in civil service training, we have included elements such as the following. New recruits have to take part in basic training. They are trained on how to provide good service to the community, how we should be people-oriented and result-oriented, etc. This is particularly important to departments that provide direct services to the public. Some departments have their own training for their staff, including programs for different colleagues. In general, our civil service college have already incorporated such elements in their training. Mr. Cheng Cho Kwang, I totally agree that for civil servants that are performing unsatisfactorily should be tackled because they can be a nuisance to their colleagues who are very dedicated to their job. Heads of departments should be responsible for managing their staff because we've worked with different supervisors. Now, if the supervisor is very conscientious, then the whole team will follow his path, and if he is slack, then the whole team will follow his example. For frontline law enforcement agencies, if we cut their manpower across the board, then this is going to be difficult because their work cannot be replaced or delivered by AI or technology. So you need to exercise discretion. You should not apply an across-the-board approach. And secondly, when it comes to recruitment of civil servants, can you ensure that these new recruits are registered voters? As we all know, it requires great effort to promote the voting rate among our civil servants. And we fully commend the efforts made by the Civil Service College in the training of civil servants. But we should also have programs to enhance the capability or the potential for our civil servants to get promoted. For instance, our Metropolitan U can organize programs to upgrade the qualifications of our civil servants so they can get better chance of promotion. Mr. Chen Chou Kwong, do you have a question? Yes, I'll come to my question very quickly. As regards medical and dental services for the civil service, as said by Mr. Stephen Ho, now civil servants have access to these services as employees. They are also members of the public. In fact, once they receive such services from the government, they are already ousted from the services available to the public. And as for the pilot scheme on dental services, etc., now I am a beneficiary of the scheme. I have to declare. Now, the problem is now there is no follow-up service after such services in the private sector. In the past, you still have a follow-up appointment after receiving a scaling service in a dental clinic, but this is no longer the case now. As for 5-day week, as we all know, the greatest challenges are for colleagues that have to work on shift. The work is the hardest in the government, and they cannot enjoy the 5-day week benefit. So please consider how you can allow colleagues working on shift to enjoy 5-day weeks as well. Thank you.
Secretary, please be brief. The member asked 5 questions. Now, in the coming 2 years, we will see a cut of 2% of the staff establishment in each of the 2 years. This is not a huge reduction, and I noticed that the law enforcement departments have been open to this initiative. They have been adopting technology widely. They have done a lot of work in this regard. In future, if we have to implement cuts in staff establishment, again, we will consider the needs of the disciplined services. As for recruitment for newly recruited civil servants, we will ask them to fill out the voters registration form first before we ask them to be on duty. As for junior members, I think their level of capability is different. We actually have a clear division of work and responsibility for the Civil Service College. They focus on senior management training as well as mindset training for the new recruits. As for training for individual departments, I think the individual departments have to be responsible for that themselves. For more junior civil servants, can we offer more training to them to enhance their capacity and capability so that they can get promoted more easily? Well, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it to the individual departments to deal with it. Well, we encourage departments to offer training to our civil servants, especially because we are becoming a smart society and we want to encourage them to make use of technology. Now, on dental services, we impose a requirement to private sector dental clinics for dentists that offer scaling services to civil servants. They may want to jot notes on the health conditions of the patients concerned, and the health department will follow up on the cases. So this is the arrangement we have put in place. Please rest assured. 8 members are waiting to speak, so please manage our time and please be as brief as possible. Next, Ms. Nixie Lam. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Secretary. People are all very concerned about the conduct of civil servants. We see that more and more young people are joining the civil service nowadays. They make use of social media platforms oftentimes. I see that there is no particular check on the social media accounts or platforms by the government. For large-scale private companies, before they recruit a staff, they would check their social media accounts. I wonder if the government can do the same. If any inappropriate content is detected on their social media accounts, will the government employ specific measures to deal with this? I think the reputation of the civil service is crucial. For Gen Z, they start using social media platforms since they are born. And this is a very different generation we're talking about. So will we impose relevant requirements on them? I think at least we will have to give reminders to them in this regard. Perhaps you can consider issuing notices to tell them about the government's requirements. Secretary. Thank you, Chair. On the use of social media platforms by civil servants, for civil servants who use social media platforms to express their views on the government or to talk about their work, it's clearly stated in the Civil Service Code that what civil servants say on social media platforms are essentially the same as what they express verbally in person. Our expectation is that we expect civil servants to behave the same personally and also on their social media accounts. Also, if civil servants share their personal lives on social media platforms, I believe for senior civil servants, they have to maintain their professional image in front of the public. So we have reminded our colleagues to be careful. Especially for senior civil servants, they have to maintain their personal image and the impression they give to the public. We have been giving such reminders to civil servants, and in future we will continue to remind them. As for new recruits, we have done an assessment on their characters. As for whether the tests or assessments cover their social media accounts, I'm afraid I cannot disclose the details here. But yes, we check their characters as well as qualities before we recruit them. I believe not just senior civil servants, for contract staff as well. I'm not referring to the latest incident only. Some young people, they dress in a very sexy way, and they may post these pictures on their social media accounts. So I think they have to take into consideration civil servants' image. What I want to say is that young people nowadays make use of social media platforms very frequently. So I think the government has to do something to make them understand the severity of this. Secretary, yes, comments noted. We will do something about this. Next, Dr. Johnny Ng. I thank the administration for the briefing. I have two follow-up questions. First, on paragraph 6 of the government paper. 23 officers have displayed persistent substandard performance, and that's why they received the Section 12 notifications. This is a small percentage because we have about 190,000 civil servants. What I want to know is, can the government disclose the details of what misconduct the 23 officers engage in? Are there ways for the public to learn more about these cases? That's my first question. Second, paragraph 10 talks about the enhanced performance appraisal mechanism for civil servants. I want to know what was wrong with the old mechanism. Why did the government have to strengthen the appraisal mechanism? Was it because there was an unclear division of work under the old appraisal mechanism? Also, will this appraisal mechanism be used by subsidized organizations and bodies so that these organizations can better train up their talent as well as recruit talent? Secretary, in paragraph 6, we mentioned that we ordered some civil servants to retire because of their persistent substandard performance. According to paragraph 6, section 12, notifications has nothing to do with the disciplinary mechanism. For these 23 officers we mentioned in paragraph 6, we issued the notification because we rolled out the streamlined mechanism in September 2023, and since the launch of the streamlined mechanism, 23 officers have been issued with the Section 12 notification, and this mechanism is to deal with civil servants with persistent substandard performance. For example, we have given them verbal warnings or advice. We have also told them about the situation in more than one appraisal report. And we're talking about a period for less than 2 years after the launch of the streamlined mechanism. So on average, each year, 2.4 civil servants are dealt with under the streamlined mechanism. In the past, the processing time was a lot longer. It took on average 31 months for each case under the old mechanism. Now we're seeing a trend that more departments are willing to handle civil servants with persistent substandard performance under the streamlined mechanism. Now turning to the performance appraisal mechanism. We didn't identify major problems with the old mechanism. It's just that we noticed that some supervisors gave over-generous reports to their subordinates. I think for reports that are too generous, it really gives too much room for people to interpret the comments. So we are asking supervisors or appraising officers to describe in greater detail the performance of our civil servants. We also draw reference from the practice of the private sector to see if we can come up with a better appraisal mechanism. Our practice is made public, so if any subsidized bodies would like to learn from our mechanism, we welcome that. Next, Mr. Mark Chon. Every year, civil servants get pay adjustment as well as pay increment. Over the past few years, we had over 100,000 civil servants, and only some 30 officers did not get the pay increment. That means 99.9% of the civil servants enjoyed the pay increment. In the private sector, only those who work very proactively and display excellent performance get the pay increment. For civil servants, I think this mechanism fails to encourage civil servants to be more active. In last year's policy address, it was proposed that a more rigorous appraisal mechanism or a clear reward and punishment system should be put in place. Secretary, you mentioned that for those who display poor performance, they should not get the pay increment. I want to learn about the latest situation. Will the government only allow the 80% of civil servants that display excellent performance to get the pay increment, and the rest will not be able to get the pay increment as a warning for them? Now I would like to turn to the heads of department accountability system. I think this system is crucial to the administration's governance. The water procurement incident was exposed, and people have been talking about making use of the HOD accountability system. Some say that for those who weren't aware of this system, we should not hold them accountable. Now, we have this accountability system in place. I want to know what concrete measures the government will put in place. Secretary, now I would like to talk about pay rise and pay increment first. I remember that in the previous legislative session, some members also asked the same question. That is, for civil servants who've gained 1 year of experience, will they automatically get the pay increment? I think this is different from the idea of a bonus. For those who get a passing rate, at least for their performance, they will get the pay increment. And this is also to show that the civil servant concerned has gained more experience. So for those who do not display good performance, they will not get the pay increment. So this is tied with their performance. This is unlike the private sector where people get bonuses if they do well. So this performance appraisal mechanism will affect the chance of civil servants getting the pay increment. If their appraisal is not good, then obviously the civil servants concerned will not be able to enjoy the pay increment. So we deal with all these using the performance appraisal mechanism. We hope that in the first half of this year we'll be able to give a report to this panel to tell members about how we strengthen the appraisal mechanism.
And the second is the accountability system for heads of departments. Of course, we expect our heads of department to perform well, but it's not that they alone can make all the difference. Now we have, of course, a hierarchy of supervision in the civil service. We hope that through this accountability system, we can build effective schemes and we can continue to improve work processes, and shortcomings of departments should be identified as early as possible. This can be done by regular reporting on management issues, and there should also be regular or ad hoc checks on the performance of subordinates by heads of departments. In the past, we have seen some shortcomings in departments. Perhaps this is because our system needed improvement. When it comes to the purchase of drinking water for the civil service, we had the system in place, but we could not see the desired effect. So what I can say is we should enhance our training for colleagues. Thank you. Ms. Julia Lau. Good morning, Secretary. I'd like to know whether you have a system for colleagues to make suggestions on improvement to quality and efficiency of work on an anonymous system, on an anonymous basis. I want to ensure that views of subordinates can be made known to supervisors. And for some services, they are really manpower demanding. A cut in manpower resources will impact on the service quality. Do you have any mechanism for colleagues to reflect such situation or such things to you? Now, we do have a scheme for colleagues to make suggestions to heads of departments, and once the suggestion is accepted, the colleague concerned will be commended or awarded. All suggestions can be made on an anonymous basis or otherwise, and that suggestions or proposals can be made to heads of departments or even to myself. I have received many proposals on how to improve our work, our service delivery, our training, and our recruitment efforts. We consider all these proposals very meticulously, so there are ample channels for views of junior staff to be made known to senior officers. If colleagues feel that their suggestions have been ignored by their supervisors, then they can write or email or in whatever way they like, make known their views to us. We do understand that some services are manpower intensive, but some others can be replaced by the use of technology. Hopefully, now given our fiscal deficit, we would take this opportunity to expedite the deployment of technology to do our job better with fewer manpower. Of course, in all departments, there are services that really require manpower, but there are other services that are not so manpower demanding. So we do give flexibility to heads of bureaus. Some services can be delivered by using technology or by streamlining of procedures, and manpower should be cut in these areas. We have not mandate that in all tiers and in all grades there must be a cut of 2% across the board. Thank you, Ms. Lau. Now, we've all been employees. Sometimes some proposals, we want to make proposals on an anonymous basis. Perhaps it's also difficult to communicate with our supervisors. In such cases, what will you suggest to your colleagues? Now, if colleagues don't want to be known, then anonymous communications will still be read. Myself, in my years of experience, more than 10 years experience as a head of department, I have considered such suggestions. Now, although I said, now we're going to extend our meeting by 15 minutes. Mr. Lam Wai Kwong, thank you. I cannot agree more with Mr. Aaron Bock and also Mr. Kingsley Wong on the point of civil service morale. This is particularly important when there will be a manpower cut and an increase in service requirements. So you really have to consider pay adjustment for our civil servants. The paper is said that based on priorities of work and internal redeployment, etc., you are going to introduce a manpower cut. So by reprioritization, that means you will only attend to urgent tasks first and not so urgent tasks later. This actually will impact on your service, quality of service to the public. And can you tell us what work processes or procedures have been streamlined and how you have deployed technology to reduce the demand on manpower, so much so that you have succeeded in cutting manpower resources without jeopardizing service quality? Now, if there are departments that can really enhance their service efficiency by using technology, have you provided appropriate training for civil servants so that they can use such technology to improve their efficiency? And I agree that we should reward good work and penalize poor performance. You have this new arrangement of government-wide mobilization. I'd like to know whether you will award civil servants for having taken part in the government-wide mobilization program. And in work appraisal, you consider the performance of colleagues. What about the attitude and mindset of colleagues in taking part in training in patriotic education and national security? If colleagues are more proactive in taking part in such training programs, will you give them a high weighting in work appraisal? Secretary, thank you. Yes, we have a set of 6 factors in considering civil service pay adjustment. Civil service morale is among the 6. And for reprioritization, it is not as simple as we just attend to urgent tasks first. Many services are ongoing, but then with changes in society, sometimes we can make some adjustment. For instance, collection of statistics and release of statistics, just for example's sake. For instance, in the past, the hit rate of some statistics was not that high. Then perhaps we can reduce the frequency for updating such statistics, and then manpower can be released to attend to other tasks. And as for the use of technology to reduce the manpower demand, we've often commended the Census and Statistics Department in the use of technology. It has to collect data on the flow of passengers, outbound and inbound passengers in our ports. The general skills or the responsibility of the Civil Service College in terms of training, but there are specific skills particularly required of some departments, and that is the responsibility of the department concerned in providing training. For CNSD, I understand that the department made available training for its colleagues on, for instance, how to use AI in their duties. And then colleagues embraced AI after that. And so manpower could be cut or redeployed to other areas. So using the same level of manpower, or even less, for instance, a reduction of 2%, they were able to cope with a heavier workload. This is a very good example for other departments to consider. Last but not least, or actually the second last point, whether colleagues involved in the government-wide mobilization level will be commended. In fact, colleagues are required to carry out work or to carry out duties that is within their responsibilities under the level. And then we have a roster. We change the shift of civil servants on a regular basis. So each and every colleague will see his turn to be involved. So we have no intention to commend participation in the government-wide mobilization initiative. In our appraisal, we look at the commitment and the passion displayed by colleagues there. And then we can also look at whether they embrace patriotism and also the sense of belonging to the country. We'll also see whether they have taken part in any training programs in the year of review, under review. We've also established an IT system to include mandatory programs to be taken by colleagues. If they haven't taken part in these programs, they will be reminded very near the end of the appraising cycle. And the management should also remind colleagues of the need to take part in programs related to knowledge of our country. Thank you. Mr. Wu Yingpeng. Thank you. Yes, I think it is quite effective to require our colleagues to take part in training programs and national studies. However, the world is a field of uncertainties, and sometimes there are crises, and also challenges. I'd like to know whether colleagues have been groomed to tackle major crises. Secretary, thank you. When it comes to the global situation and political and economic risks and challenges, in answering another member's question, I already mentioned training programs on enhancing our colleagues' holistic views and global perspectives, and we've also got talks on deep understanding of the country. I defer to our CS colleague.
Mr. Oscar Kwok, members asked how civil servants can address internal and external risks. We introduced national security training programs from 2024. The logic behind is that we want civil servants of all levels to understand that national security is not just a matter of individual departments. All civil servants should learn about the risks we are facing. I have been to Beijing 2 years over the past year, 2 times over the past years, and I talked to the relevant scholars about this. We want civil servants to have an overall understanding of national security risks. We have also invited scholars and experts with authority to come to talk to our civil servants. And for cases where national security risks were identified, we use them as case studies for our programs. So we use real-life cases to tell civil servants how national security risks are displayed and how they should tackle these risks. On training on emergency responses, it's about what positions civil servants are in. I once served in the police force. So using the police force as an example, in times of major incidents, police officers know how to tackle risks because there were training programs related to it. Police officers have to learn what kind of emergency response actions they should take in times of emergency incidents. I know that there have been cross-departmental efforts in training up civil servants to deal with such risks. Any further questions? No. Now it's my turn. I want to first ask about the heads of departments accountability system. As we all know, in the water procurement scandal, the government conclusion after investigation was that staff from the logistics department made wrong judgment in the procurement process. It was decided by the government that the head of the logistics department did not display gross negligence, but then the way that logistics department staff dealt with the incident were not appropriate. And in the end, the head of the logistics department had the honorary title removed. So this is a kind of punishment for the head of the logistics department. For heads of departments, they may give power to their subordinates to take forward certain work or duties. There might be systemic issues in different departments. And my guess is that in future, heads of departments may not really have to be held accountable when things go wrong. So I want to know, will the government apply the same standards in dealing with any potential problems, like how it dealt with the water procurement scandal in punishing the head of the logistics department, or will the government impose more stringent requirements on heads of departments in the future? I hope the Secretary could respond to this. Now, turning to staff establishment as well as the government's fiscal position, I believe that in the coming 2 years, as mentioned in the policy address, the government will reduce the establishment by 2% in each of the coming 2 financial years. I don't think this is an easy task. Like the Secretary said, in year 2026-27, the government will have to cut at least 7,000 posts. Secretary said government departments could make their own decision to allocate resources differently in order to meet the 2% cut target. Will departments cut junior posts instead of the more senior posts? And that might boost the workload of frontline civil servants. Say policy bureaus give a report to you, Secretary, to reduce mostly senior posts. Will you talk to the departments concerned about the situation? Secretary. Thank you, Chair. Let me address the question about the HOD accountability system. In dealing with different cases, we will ensure that there is a fair, impartial, and in-depth investigation. We will have to, based on the investigation findings, make a decision on how to deal with the case. And we impose stringent standards as we review the cases. We look at who should be made accountable. We have to look at the responsibilities of the civil servants concerned. If it is clear that it is part of the responsibility of the department concerned, but the heads of department or the management did not do anything to change the malpractice, and if it was the first time we detect the problem, we might handle the situation differently, because we all may interpret the situation differently. But at the end of the day, we ask heads of departments to build a good management team and a good department. It is not our aim to make each civil servant of a department to be held accountable. However, if there is a lack of an appropriate management system, it will be the problem of the HOD concerned. We ask HOD to build a good management system, and civil servants of every level has to be responsible for their work. And if they do not, or they fail to do so, the HOD concerned will have to do something about it. Now, turning to the proposed reduction of civil service establishment, HODs will have to be responsible for their output or productivity every year at the Special Finance Committee meetings. HODs have to report to LegCo members as well as the public which parts they fail to meet the target. So I'm not too worried that HODs would just deal with the lower hanging fruits by reducing the junior posts only, because HODs have to be responsible for the overall productivity of their departments. However, I would not take it as a surprise if heads of departments decide to cut posts that focus on manual labor. This is because if we can use technology to replace manual labor, we should embrace it. For posts that only deal with manual or straightforward tasks, I think if HODs decide to cut these posts, we should not criticize them too much. All right, thank you, Secretary and her team. Now we move on to the next agenda item, any other business. There being no other business, meeting adjourned. Thank you.